Kinsey's Right Royal Roundup.
And here she is. She is the woman herself. It's Kinsey Schofield. Hello, Kinsey.
Oh, the way you looked to your side right there, it felt like I was next to you, and it made me actually miss you. But I loved your stories today. I love when you get personal like that. I know that those are probably not the most fun memories, but I think that they make you so charming and sweet.
Oh, bless you. Thank you for saying that. Well, you know, it's all true. And also, you know, you have to have been where you were to get to where you are. And yeah. I think that you have to also learn a bit of resilience sometimes. And I'm not sure, I mean, to bring it back to why we're discussing it, I think a lot of parents nowadays maybe think they're doing children a massive favour by saying, oh, you're feeling a bit stressed, stay at home, when in actual fact, that stress and getting over it is part of the skills you need to learn for life, right?
Well, I was taken out of school I would have been in 5th grade. I think I finished 4th grade here. So I was in, you know, I was a child. I don't know how your grade system there.
5th grade would be a sort of the top end of primary school. I think the top year in primary school is 6th grade, year 6 here. So just about a year before you leave primary school in English money.
Yeah, so I'm just a little kiddo, and I came home one day and asked my mom what divorce was, and she yanked me out of school, and she homeschooled me for the rest of my life. And so...
Why? Because someone had mentioned the word divorce in school.
Well, also, I wanted to listen to Salt and Pepper, and she was concerned by that. But she was just a very protective and very conservative. So I completely understand what you're saying. I think it's a blessing because in that time I was very creative and created a website for InSync, and that translated into the life and career I have today. I feel like I honed some skills there that I utilize today. But I also, every teenage movie I watch where like the cheerleader gets the football player, I'm like, that could have been me. That could have been me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean,
I didn't get to go to prom.
Well, yeah, I know, but, you know, what is a bigger concern for my family is that when I watch a cheerleader that got the football player, I want to be that cheerleader too. So, sorry. All right. Now, this actually is quite pertinent to what we're going to discuss because, hey, we're talking about children that maybe need to learn resilience, need to learn common sense, need to learn how to, exercise good judgment and resilience in certain situations. But something that, of course, royal children probably don't have so much experience with. And certainly, when Prince Andrew was growing up, can't have had much experience with, because that has led to an adult Prince Andrew that may not be guilty of any crime, but has certainly made some absolutely appallingly stupid decisions in his life, right?
Well, and just to your point, the Queen is criticized by about very little in her life. She's, I think, the main topic we'd see the Queen criticized
the late
about.
Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth. The most obvious is the way that the death of Diana was handled, but she has been criticized throughout her life over the way she focused on the job and left King Charles and Princess Anne at home. And, you know, the way that they kind of yearned for her and she was not available to them, the way she would take off with Prince Philip. However, she babied and just absolutely coddled Prince Andrew. And we see two very different men. I think King Charles does come off as somebody who has his head on his shoulders, who makes much better decisions. Of course, also we're dealing with the heir and the spare dynamic. That, you know, King Charles knew he had a job. He knew he knew that he was always working towards something much bigger, and Prince Andrew never had that. But I do think that the difference in parenting is reflected in, you know, what we're seeing today. A man who is trying to decide whether or not he's going to financially support his wayward brother, and a brother who we're hearing is absolutely devastated, hiding away in his nice little estate and refusing to leave and refusing to see the sunlight. You know, I do think that because Andrew was so coddled growing up, because he was the favorite, because he got away with everything, because we heard that he had behavior issues. This has nothing to do with anything sexually whatsoever, but we heard he was not a very nice person growing up. The way he treated people, and his attitude towards people that were quote unquote beneath him. So I do think that because he got away with so much as a young man and as a child, that he made some really poor decisions as an adult.
Well, he was a bit of a playboy prince, wasn't he? And of course,
Randy Andy.
But of course, there is also, and you and I have discussed this before, and I think that Diana's children were probably, and I think that the next generation of Princess Kate's children and Prince William's children will hopefully have a bit more of a head on their shoulders as well. But the generation that the elder royals are from was a very coddled royal generation. You know, there are these stories of whether toothpaste was put on the toothbrush for them, you know, having their shoes and their outfits picked out for them. All of these things meaning that they never learned a decision-making process. They never learned common sense. They never learned boundaries. And never before, even if Prince Andrew is only guilty of everything he has admitted to, right? And what he's admitted to is remaining friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he was charged with these horrific crimes and being in contact with him and all of these things. Even if it ends there, right, that is still such a monumental lack of good judgment and a lack of common sense that it is really demonstrative, I think, of a wider issue of growing up in this coddled royal life where you never have to actually think about consequences.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with you. I can't fathom it. And this story it surprised me how big this story is here in the States. I thought, oh, sure, over there, everybody's going to care. But every news station is on this, and we have discussed in the past that perhaps Prince Andrew might utilize the United States as his escape, that if things get too bad for him over there, perhaps he could come to America and try to generate a revenue off the royal name, similar to the way that Fergie has done in the past, the Duchess of York. She's worked with QVC. She's worked with Oprah Winfrey. You know, she has utilized her connection to the royal family to monetize and make a living here in America. And there have been rumors in the past that Prince Andrew could potentially do that as well if he runs out of options. But I don't know right now if that's an option for him, because this story is blowing up in the States and he is at the top of the list. He is really one of the only names people care about, alongside Bill Clinton, alongside Michael Jackson. It's Prince Andrew that is really I want to say scarred over these documents.
And it's being reported today now that the king, who made a promise to the Queen, late Queen, that he would look after Prince Andrew, Richard Kay is saying that today, I think in the Mail on Sunday, but also sort of considering sort of two contradictory stories, really, because you've got Richard Kay saying, look, Prince Charles is going to fulfil, King Charles now, but when he was Prince Charles, he's going to fulfil this promise he made to the Queen to look after Prince Andrew. But then on the flip side, you've got these stories that potentially he wants to withdraw the security for Prince Andrew at Royal Lodge. So which of those do you think is true, and what do you think will be next?
I have no idea. If it were me, I would make him move into Frogmore Cottage, where he would have the proper security, because it's within the Windsor estate and that security exists. I would say, of course, you're welcome at family events, but you are not in any way, shape, or form to show your face at anything in an official capacity. Can you come to church with a short? And actually, what's interesting about that Richard K piece is I believe he says that Andrew wasn't even invited to church. The church appearance with Fergie, Andrew decided he was going to go. And so King Charles actually said, okay, well, Fergie, would you like to attend? Because Prince Andrew is determined to go, which sounds just like Prince Andrew, totally, oblivious to common sense, just his self-awareness is shot at this point in time. And so I don't know. If it were me, I'd say you're moving into Frogmore. Of course you're welcome to be around the family when it's Christmas time and when things are low key, but nothing on an official level or nothing where you're going to have your picture taken with us. And I've received criticism online because I jokingly said, maybe I wasn't joking, I don't know, but I said the next time that Prince Andrew needs a ride to church, maybe Prince William and Catherine should just call him a cab. And people were like, well, the Christian thing to do would be to take him to church. He needs God right now. And yeah, I think that he probably does need God right now, but I haven't seen an ounce of sincerity from this man since this has happened. I haven't seen an ounce of
humility,
regret. Yeah, and regret. And so I'm sorry, but when he shows up to church with the family, it looks like a PR stunt, and that's not what he needs right now.
Okay, when we return, why things might actually, over the course of the next few months, get worse for Prince Andrew. And we'll also talk about Princess Catherine. She's got a birthday coming up. How she'll be spending that. That's next here on TalkTV.
Christo's Right Royal Roundup.
There we go. And Kinsey Schofield still joins us. Hello, Kinsey.
Hello.
Now, we're going to, just while we're here, we're going to do, hopefully, are we going to do another recording tomorrow night? Another live, you and I?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that and analyse some more of Prince Andrew. I think we should go back to basics when we do that. So that will be on our Majesty channel and on your channels and all of these sorts of things. And I will also, when we do that, why are you laughing at me? Where will it be? Tell me where it will be.
That was just a very geriatric. It's just we're gonna put it out into the world, into the universe. Catch it where you can. I loved it.
Onto the interweb.
Yeah. Onto the www.
The World Wide Web. But also, when we do that, I will reveal to you this year's royal-themed Christmas card, which I sent to people, which is not suitable for a broadcast channel such as TalkTV. I cannot reveal it on this programme, but I will be able to reveal it when you and I do our live on the Majesty podcast tomorrow evening.
What I can say about it, because I've witnessed it, is that I suspected that it is what brought the Epstein paperwork to light. When I saw it, I thought, Christo did this. This was Christo's.
Not the most appropriate Christmas card. If you don't know, myself and my partner, we bespoke make our own Christmas card every year, and we tend to make it relevant to world events. And this year, let's just say we chose Prince Andrew as our theme. Less said about that, the better. Though, what's interesting about the Prince Andrew revelations about these daily massages, which he denies and the like, this isn't going to be the end of the story. There are now, this year, slated not one, but two major dramatisations of what has happened around this. Now, here in the UK, there is a really big furore going on at the moment, and criminal charges that are now being considered as a result of a dramatisation of the miscarriage of justice around the post office scandal. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Kinsey, but there was a big scandal of people who owned post offices wrongly accused of fraud. It all turned out to be as a result of a rogue computer system. And this TV drama has got people so angry again at all of this that now the Met Police yesterday announced that they are now looking into criminal charges. So with these two TV dramas on the horizon, one for Netflix, with Gillian Anderson playing Emily Maitlis. We've also, and I think Rufus Sewell is playing Prince Andrew. We've also got a royal a scandal, I think a very royal scandal. And
Amazon.
That's for Amazon, and you've got Michael Sheen playing Prince Andrew. These dramas might actually really stir up the public to say, hang on, he has bigger questions to answer, in the way it has with the Post Office, right?
I think that I don't know. I honestly don't think so. I think that we're in the eye of the tornado right now. But also, I think, I hate to say this out loud, but I think that Prince Andrew has special privileges. You know, the Met came out within the last few days and said that there was nothing new in the Epstein documents, and so that they weren't going to pursue an investigation. I think that he gets away. He gets special privilege because of who his family is and who he is. And I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, but that's certainly the way that it feels.
But do you think that the public will stand for that? If they see, clearly, if they look again, if you look at the Post Office scandal, the public were angry about it, but this drama has made people so furious that the police have caved in and said, right, we need to look into this more clearly. Whether they find any criminal wrongdoing from the Post Office themselves is another matter. But they are investigating. I wonder whether the authorities say, or whether the pressure mounts on Prince Andrew as a result of public anger, that the King says, sorry, you've got to go and answer some questions, because this is now, because of the public anger these dramas are going to invoke, you need to answer some questions.
I don't know if I see that happening. I mean, if you really do your research, and let's be honest, no one that watches television does that. But if you really do your research and you look at, even Virginia's character, Virginia is
Virginia
very much. Yeah, Virginia Giuffre is very much a victim. I will stress that she is very much a victim, but she also can't deny the fact that she was going into clubs and recruiting young women to bring back to Jeffrey Epstein. So, it's hard to really sympathize with people that also are guilty of being a part of the pyramid scheme. You know what I mean?
And also, we don't know as well. Sorry to jump in, but also,
everyone says they're innocent. Everyone says they're innocent.
Yes, but also, there were inconsistencies, from what I understand, in some of her stories. Now, when it comes to victims of abuse, sometimes inconsistencies are a very natural thing that happen because of the nature of the crime and the alleged crime, etc. But it'll be interesting to see how these dramatizations go down. Yeah, of course.
Can I go into some of those inconsistencies? For one, she said she was with Alan Dershowitz, who became very famous for defending O.J. Simpson. Alan Dershowitz also was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney. Alan Dershowitz swore that he was not with Virginia, and then she later came out and said that she believed she'd made a mistake and that she wasn't with him. But then these documents were released over the last few days where she was communicating with a journalist that suggested that she attach Alan Dershowitz's name to the chaos surrounding Epstein because he was a known individual. So that was a little strange that in these emails, this journalist is saying, make sure you mention Alan Dershowitz. And this is before she accused him publicly. And this is before then she recanted her story about being with him. Additionally, there are also documents where someone makes the claim that Bill Clinton killed a story at Vanity Fair regarding Jeffrey Epstein and potential younger women that he was with, that Bill Clinton was had gone up to bat for Jeffrey Epstein and actually showed up at the offices of Vanity Fair. Now, the editor of Vanity Fair said that absolutely did not happen. But what the journalist working on the piece said was that it was actually Jeffrey Epstein that walked into the offices and tried to have that portion of the story killed successfully. So it's like a game of telephone, and like you said, this is years and years and years later. So maybe there's not a lot, maybe there is room for error because so much time has passed.
All right, let's talk about Princess Catherine. Now, I didn't realise she's 42. For some reason, I didn't just realise that she hit that age. I mean, she looks fantastic.
I mean, is she a vampire? Is she a vampire?
She looks great.
She does. Now, this is one of those sweet stories of what they might do potentially on her birthday. We really have no idea. But they said that, and it could be happening this weekend, it could be happening next weekend. Typically, they invite her family out and friends for shooting and, country type events. I believe that they're going to stay very low key based on the chaos that's been going on over the last few weeks and months. But I'm with you. I cannot believe she is 42 years old. She doesn't look a day over 23. And happy birthday to her.
Well, I think that is a nice story to hear about that because, of course, the royals it might be nice for them to have a little something to celebrate going forward, bearing in mind that they've had nothing but a barrage of hell, really. I think one thing is for sure, it's very unlikely that Prince Andrew will be invited to any of the celebrations. I heard this week there was a rumour that him and Fergie were going to get married again.
I heard that too, but I feel like that is just the conversation you and I have every other week, which is, are they friends with benefits? What's going on? I do think that it would enhance his reputation, but I also believe that it's a little too late if we're going to be honest at this point in time. If they want to improve his reputation, they need to go away for a little while.
What about love? What about love? I mean, could they not just actually be in love rather than it being about reputational improvement?
Well, I love you, but I don't get to marry you, Christo.
That's a fair comment. That is a fair comment, but it's not for want of you trying.
Yeah. No, I think that they clearly do love each other. I think that they do love each other. Otherwise, I just can't imagine sticking around through this roller coaster.